القناة.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Hanan Awad, and I would like to talk about the stereotypes of Muslim women. So, why me? I have noted that most of the Muslim women who speak up and address stereotypes of Muslim women are either from Western origin or Eastern origin who were raised and lived most of their life in the West. For me, I was born in Egypt and I lived in Egypt for 25 years, and then I moved to Kuwait and I lived 10 years. And only 3 years ago, I relocated to Canada. So I do believe that maybe I can bring to the table another perspective of a woman who lived the main bulk of her life in the East. So why stereotypes? Stereotypes are not harmful in their own merit. They are harmful from their effect. So they damage the society because they encourage prejudice, and prejudice in turn encourage and foster discrimination. So I was very curious about the term stereotype and where it came from. And I did some research, and I found out that in 1798, a French printer, coined that term, referring to a printing process used to create reproduction of the same material. So in 1922, the journalist Walter Lippmann liked the term and used it to describe the pictures in the mind. In other words, how our minds reproduce reality. And from that time, writers, scholars started to use that term to refer to overgeneralizations related to certain groups. So what about prejudice? Prejudice in general terms is a statement of a strong opinion or belief. The problem about prejudice that it is more than a statement. It's an attitude that is based on a strong negative feeling like dislike or hate. So in the 20s, psychological researchers started to study prejudice, and they linked, and there were so many theories about the prejudice that's related to the white man's superiority. So there are two types of stereotypes in broad sense: negative stereotypes and positive stereotypes. For positive or neutral stereotypes, like Chinese are workaholic, or Indians value family so much, or Egyptians have a good sense of humor. These type of stereotypes are not harmful in a way or another. The real problem is the negative stereotypes. When attributing a negative quality to a certain group of people, neglecting other factors than how we grouped these people. So we as human beings, we have a tendency to think in categories. We have this tendency to say, this is in, this is out, this is black, this is white, this is good, this is bad. So despite the value of categorizing and how this organize our thoughts and help us to act in effective ways, it sometimes limits our desire to interact with other people and to isolate ourselves. And in doing this, we might discriminate against other people. So, as we said, the prejudice is a strong belief. So, when we believe, we have a process of believing. So, either we go through a thinking process, or we learn something from a trusted person, so we believe in it. So when we learn a certain topic or assumed fact from a trusted person without having a first-hand experience, we might, do something very bad because we don't have the first-hand experience. On the other hand, when we have a first-hand experience, but we start to generalize this experience to everyone, this is also not a healthy behavior. So back to stereotypes of Muslim women. Through my reading, and I started to read a lot about what kind of stereotypes that are surrounding Muslim women, and I discovered that most of the research relate all the problems and the issues of Muslim women to religion. Most of scholars, they are not taking into consideration other facts or other aspects of the life of Muslim women that might contribute to a problem or something. So some of the stereotypes that I will address in the following video blogs are related to educational status, occupational and professional lives of Muslim women, marriage, family, gender discrimination in Islam, and other topics that I will feel that are misunderstood. I will use my own experience and other people's experiences. I will use what's really written in the books that we use, the Quran and the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad. So finally, I will end this blog with two verses from the Quran. The first one is verse 94 from Surah An-Nisa. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. O you who believe, when you go to fight in the cause of Allah, verify the truth, and say not to anyone who greets you, you are not a believer, seeking the perishable goods of the worldly life. There are much more profits and booties with Allah, even as He is now. So were you yourselves before till Allah conferred on you His favors. Therefore, be cautious in discrimination. Allah is ever well aware of what you do. The second verse, Sadaqallahu al-Azim. The second verse is verse number 11 from Surah Al-Hujurat, chapter number 49. O ye who believe, let not some men among you laugh at others. It may be that the latter are better than the former. Nor some women laugh at others. It may be that the latter are better than the former. Nor defame, nor be sarcastic to each other, nor call each other by offensive nicknames. Ill-seeming is a name connoting wickedness, to be used of one after he has believed. And those who do not desist are indeed doing wrong. So from these two areas we can understand how the Islam as a religion is not a discriminating religion. And as Muslims, we are ordered not to discriminate or not to be sarcastic to other people who are different than us. And that's why we don't accept to be discriminated against. And we, as Muslim women, started to raise our voices and address all these wrong stereotypes that are surrounding us. Assalamu alaikum.